What is an embarrassing simple realization you have recently made? When my father was a kid they had this toy called building blocks, TM. They were little wooden men that had gaps in their hands, shoulders, feet, etc. And you could stack them up and make them into different shapes, structures, whatever. The little wooden man was a character named Building. My father is close to 70 years old, and a few years ago got into a conversation with a child about these, and my dad was just going on and on about how cool they were, and the child said, "Oh, I get it. Building blocks. You build stuff with them." The look on my dad's face as he slowly realized building equals building. He didn't know. He hadn't thought about it. That pun wasn't important to him at the time. It was just a neat toy to him. That's a very cute story. When I was in elementary school, I was pulled aside one day and informed that 3 times a week, I'd be going to a special class for an hour. I was told that the name of this class was Extra Special Learning and I loved it because it was clear evidence that I was some kind of genius to be pulled out of the normal classes. Being really smart became a really important part of my self-identity. Fast forward about 20 years later / 4 years ago, I'm flipping through the academic catalog for my college, just because I'm kind of curious to see what other kinds of classes they offer. Biology classes, chemistry classes, computer science classes, design classes, English as a second language classes. Something in the back of my brain flickered. English as a second language. Something about that made me pause. Then suddenly, I got it. I wasn't enrolled in some special class for geniuses in elementary school. It wasn't extra special learning. I'd been enrolled in English as a second language classes equals ESL. I honestly thought you were going to realize you were retarded. Started working in a factory requiring ear protection. It took me 3 months to realize you need to squeeze those disposable foam earbuds before putting them in your ear, and then let them expand. I was just jamming them in there and wondering why my company bought such crappy earbuds which didn't work very well. My dad works in a shipyard and something he taught me that helps putting in ear protection is, after you squish it and roll it between your fingers, take your opposite arm, reach over your head, grab your ear and pull back and up. It straightens out your ear canal and makes it easier to push the ear plug in. Not quite recently, but it took me well into my late teens to understand the implication of the phrase "it's always in the last place you look." My father used to say this, and as a child looking for a lost toy, on more than one occasion, I sat down and made a list of the places I would look so I could start with the last. First, I was bummed it didn't seem to work and was 17 before I thought about it again and it dawned on me. Wait, what? My girlfriend came home all excited to tell me about the sign for the free eggs down the street and that I should go get some. She said I don't know what range eggs are but they're free, so wait, the sign says free range eggs? I don't know how I knew from the first line that I was going to love this story, but I was not displeased. I thought mustard was a type of sauce and not a plant, until I started wondering how you could then have mustard seeds if mustard was a sauce. When I was a kid I just assumed mustard was specially made melted cheese. Our next door neighbor doesn't pull her bedroom shade down at night to be provocative, she just doesn't think about it. This is me sometimes. I grew up in a rural area and sometimes forget how on top of each other we all are in the city. Whoops. Definitely the number one thing. You know those no smoking signs, with the cigarette and smoke coming out of it? Yeah, I thought that was a dude sit hovering over a bench until I was 14. I don't see it. The kid and I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus didn't actually see the real Santa. It was his father dressed up as Santa. I'm 32, and just realized this. Wait until you learn the truth about Santa. Not mine, but a friend of mine admitted last night that up until recently she had thought that a dozen was actually 7. Her boss asked her to organize a dozen bottles of wine for some clients, and he was really confused when she was 5 short. She's really bright, so we were all shocked to find this out, but as any good friends would, we proceeded to give her crap about it for the rest of the night. Trojan bearskin condoms are not made of bearskin. I could not figure out how using bearskins would be legal. I had heard the commercial and did not actually watch the commercial. Recently beat the new South Park game which is called The Fractured Butthole. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize it was also the fractured butthole since your superpowers are fart based. Actually it was originally going to be called The Butthole of Time, but producers didn't want a game title that had the word butthole in it because they worried it would impact sales. However, this is Matt Stone and Trey Parker we are talking about, and they do everything they can to get around the rules. People tie the drawstrings of their sweatpants so they don't loosen. Needless to say, my pants have been falling down much less than they were a week ago. I was 22, driving along, listening to Cher. My dad was a huge Cher fan, went to all her concerts, etc. Yet I know, so I'd grown up listening to her songs. Well, I'm driving out to get groceries, listening to Just Like Jessie James, when it suddenly hit me. It wasn't about a cowgirl who was just as good at being bad as Jessie James. It was about a girl who played a player. My mind was completely blown. I immediately grabbed my cell phone and called my dad. Excited, I told him about my sudden realization. After a few moments of silence, he simply said, "Oh, honey, you just got that?" My mum has an embarrassingly long list of songs that I didn't get as a child and only recently came to the realization of the real meaning. I think her favorite is a song that describes a girl as being the cover of a magazine that is hot. Apparently as a child I matter of factly told my mum that she must be very very thin to be like the cover of a magazine. Kids are stupid. Last Friday I was in a new part of the city, Goose Lane, with a cute little cafe by a canal called Cafe of Geese. Super blunt English translation. So I walk by the canal and see these huge white birds. I smile and think to myself, wow, what strange looking swans. I've never seen a swan like that before. What a magical experience. Cue me feeling like a complete moron when the penny finally drops they were white geese. I am not bright. Q is with a C, is just what in Spanish. This was something I too found out recently, but you can Q with a Q. I thought for the longest time that Bath & Body Works and Bed Bath & Beyond were different branches of the same company or something. This still blows my mind every time I forget and use their names interchangeably. My cat was not, in fact, put in a farm with other cats. I had seen this reference multiple times before I made the connection. This was a few months ago. I'm in high school. I had a similar realization years ago, except we lived on a farm and I was told she went to live with a hunter. She was a beagle. So I went and asked my mom and it turns out she actually did go on to be a hunting dog. That was a lot of crying I did that day for nothing, mayo. That my cheddar cheese is not called Old Fort. It's Old Cheddar in English and Fort Cheddar in French. Cheddar Fort, mon ami. A couple of years ago I was wondering why all cows have milk, even the male cows. Then I realized that all cows are female and all bulls are male. I'm 24. Black Friday. I am in my 30s, have taken a finance class, and only just realized the name come from the concept of being in the black, as opposed to being in the red. I worked retail throughout my adult life and always assumed the name was a portentous harbinger of the suffering of retail personnel caused by the consumerist frenzy of the biggest sales day. I feel like a freaking idiot. Smooth move X-lax. Because X-lax makes your bowels move smoothly. Also I realize the phrase, no crap, Sherlock, has nothing to do with the aforementioned. In Mr. Brightside this bit, comma now they're going to bed, comma and my stomach is sick, comma and it's all in my head, comma but she's touching his chest now, is a case of getting crap past the radar. The song is a bit wacky with its rhyming. The first 4 lines are rhyme free until kiss is rhymed with this and then kiss a few more times, so I always assumed it was just that. He means dong. He doesn't mean chest, he means dong. His stomach is sick, she's touching his dong. D-I-C-K. Whoa, mind blown. My sister found out recently that Oliver & Company is based off of Oliver Twist. She was very familiar with both and even the copied names didn't ring any bells. From the Friends episode with Monica and Chandler's wedding, when Chandler said why do they call it a Czech, why not a Yugoslavia? I thought the joke was something about Yugoslavia being corrupt or something like that. Couple weeks ago I finally realized it was a pun. Czech, Czech, Czech. People aren't paid based on how hard the work is, or even on how valuable the work is, but how expensive it would be to replace them. When I was about 19, the realization dawned on me about Coke and Diet Coke. The colors are reversed. Coke is red with white, and Diet Coke is white, technically silver, with red. I bought some tights not too long ago and took them out of the pack and thought, what the heck? These are tiny. These tights look way too chewy. Tights are called tights because they are tight fitting. I had just started college and was looking for room 203. At some point it dawned on me that the 2 indicated the second floor. My high school had 2 floors, so I'm not sure how I never learned this. I'm just glad that it wasn't on the entrance exam. That blinkers were not turned automatically. I used to think that the car memorized the route you were taking and used the arrows in case you forget where you're going. When I was young as in elementary school, my dad said he needed to turn on his blinker to make a turn. I took that as in I cannot physically turn the steering wheel until my blinkers are on for some years. I have been turning the salt and pepper shakers the wrong way for years. I was always wondering why barely anything came out. Wait, what? They called her Cinderella because she cleaned the cinders out of the fireplace. When I first heard that fairy tale, I didn't know what a cinder was. New driver. I always thought that it was stupid that when you pull the bar back, the headlights go on, but it just releases back right away. WTF. This is pointless. At the same time, I wondered how other drives flashed their lights so fast. Le Schwab is in no way pronounced French. It's just some dude's name. Literally my whole life I've been saying Le phonetically as lay. WTF. People don't really care. I mean, in the good sense. If at a social event or during day-to-day life you frick something minor up, or you think you aren't doing this or that enough, or you aren't dressed as well as usual, or feel insecure, fake through it. Most people don't really care about your flaws. And anyway, it's better to have people who look for the positive, not for the negative, around you. It's that simple. Y'all are overthinking it. The actual punchline to why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Always thought it was one of those it's so obvious it's funny things. Nope. Not till you realize that the afterlife is sometimes called the other side. Then you have a suicidal chicken situation. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be literally to get to the other side of the road. It's an anti-joke that just doesn't work anymore because it's far too well known. This is why the meme for anti-jokes was a chicken BTW. I've been using Nutrisystem's app occasionally for more than a year. It's called Know Me. I commented to my husband, the name of this app is so stupid. It's Know Me. What does that even mean? Oh, yeah, when I said it just now I finally heard it. It's New Me. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.